The Emperor has foreseen a new threat rising against him. The Podwans Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Podwans Podcast. I am your host, Luke, with my co-host, Harith.
What's going on, everybody?
Man, do we have a lot to talk about this week. Not only episode 4 of The Mandalorian, season 1, The Sanctuary, but we got some news. Harith, you want to break it down for us?
So, yeah, on Monday, aka not my day because of sports-related stuff. Shout out Gridiron, guys, if you want to hear my sports thoughts on how that Monday went for me. Adam Driver decided to break to deadline that he and director at the time. Actually, I'm just gonna pull up the article. Why not? Let's just make this easier. Just to make it more visual, so I can get everything straight, because I don't want to miss any key details on this. So, Adam Driver says Disney shot down Ben Solo's Star Wars sequel despite Lucasfilm loving the idea. So, Adam Driver went to Steven Soderbergh, who was most well known for the Ocean's movies, so like Ocean 11, Ocean 12, Ocean 13. He won an Oscar recently for 2001. And again, I don't know what the hell Disney is thinking here, because like the thing that like blows my mind with this whole situation is the fact that Adam Driver came up with a concept, got a well-known scriptwriter who has had hit after hit after hit, has just knocked a bunch of movies out of the park, throws it to Lucasfilm and presents the idea. The script, by the way, is already done. It's already went through all the drafts. It already went through everything it could possibly go through. And they're like, nah, let's just not do it. Because the financial studio executives at Lucasfilm, or no, Lucasfilm, at Disney are like, no, that doesn't make sense story-wise. I'm sorry. Here's an idea of Disney. Because I'm fucking tired of this shit with Disney, to be honest with, like, them just making stupid-ass financial decisions. Like, this isn't the first time Bob Iger has kind of stepped over. Like, look at the production of Tross. Look, like, every issue that, like, you can point to that people have had with Lucasfilm, when you really think about it from a deep perspective, it's Disney. Let's just call it a spade. It's Disney. The Acolyte's weird editing. Remember, Bob Iger was the one that screened the entire series and bragged about it. So they probably had notes on that. The Rise of Skywalker getting pushed to 2020 and it being rushed production, even though Lucasfilm wanted more time. Disney. Solo, the production failure with that, and the two directors before they moved into Disney.
Yeah.
Disney pushing really hard on the slate, even though Lucasfilm was probably not ready and Marvel wasn't ready, and then now people talk about that slate, even though 90% of those projects came out. Disney. So now we go back to the actual.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
God.
We got Chase. Oh my god.
Okay, Chase. What do you think of?
I heard you talking shit about the mouse. You want to fucking get shot?
So, what's your thoughts on Adam Driver? Because I'm clearly passionate about this and this whole debacle.
All right. I was talking.
Know that
Do you
this
know?
is gonna happen?
No.
Oh. Okay, I'm glad that I'm not the only one surprised.
All right. I was talking to Lord Dagavir about this yesterday. If you guys don't know Lord Dagavir, please follow him on all socials. He's also heated about this. I'm not heated.
You're just disappointed.
No. I'm not surprised.
Same.
I think I need everyone to take a deep breath before they hear this. This is the smartest financial decision Bob Iger could have made.
You know, I agree with you.
Okay, let's take Star Wars out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say 2K buys Madden.
Okay.
And they want to make some really cool changes. They want to turn it into NFL Blitz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
And a bunch of people from Reddit burned down Mercedes-Benz Studios, or it's the stadium, right, in
Yeah.
Atlanta. Are you going to make a second one?
That's very fair. That's very compelling. That's a very good argument.
We can argue all day till we're blue in the face about what the sequel trilogy did right, what the sequel trilogy did wrong, what they should have done, what they could have done. We've been here for 10 fucking years doing that, right?
Right.
The internet overreacted and overreached. These studios are not stupid. These studios don't have people who have blinders on. Bob Iger is aware that there are videos with millions upon millions of views saying that the Holdo maneuver is done because some stupid purple-haired bitch did the move, right? He's not stupid. He knows that no matter, what decisions were made, what decisions weren't made, sequel trilogy wasn't super widely accepted in a positive light.
Okay.
That's for sure.
And if you look at the trajectory of everything they've done past the Rise of Skywalker, right? What has involved anything to do with the sequel trilogy? A scene from The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
They are distancing themselves. They are. I guarantee you, they are waiting for the dust to settle. I guarantee you that this pitch from Adam Driver and this script, because scripts don't, you don't write a script overnight, right?
No.
This script probably was sent to Kathleen Kennedy and then to Bob Iger, let's say 18 months ago.
Right.
Let's just give a arbitrary window of that. I guarantee he said, nope, it's not time. It's not time for this. I think now today in 2025, you are seeing announcements for 2026 books around the sequel trilogy. You got an announcement in 2025 about a movie coming in 2027 that takes place after The Rise of Skywalker without any of the sequel characters that we know of.
They're testing the water.
I would love to see a Kylo Ren movie. I would love to see a Ben Solo movie. I wouldn't care if they did a somehow Ben Solo return in that movie. Because I wouldn't care. That would be great. Bob Iger is probably looking at the spreadsheets that Disney had with Lucasfilm saying, hey, we think this movie can do this much money. And they probably made that money with The Force Awakens. They probably made it again with The Last Jedi. And they didn't make it with The Rise of Skywalker. And they didn't make it with Solo. And they didn't make it with Rogue One. And it took Andor 2 seasons to get to where they wanted it. They put a lot of money in the Acolyte because people said they wanted original stories, blah, blah, blah. Guess what happened? The internet lost its shit. The internet couldn't contain itself. The fandom is fucking terrible. And so they said, this is not financially worth investing hundreds of millions of dollars for the internet to just say, nah, fuck it, we don't like the sequel characters.
Yeah.
Right, but the angle I wanted to bring into this that I think is kind of interesting, the fact that Adam Driver did go public with this instead of just letting it just kind of die in the wild, shows me that him and Lucasfilm were very passionate. Look at Lucasfilm's social media posts yesterday, them posting the clip of Rey and Ben. Tell me that isn't them trolling the fandom going, we really love this idea and we're going to just test it out there and see what people say. Because that's 100% what that Lucasfilm social media manager was doing with that clip.
I can see both sides of this. I don't really have a huge opinion about this, but people being outrageously upset about it. Sorry, boo boo. I agree with Chase. They're not gonna greenlight anything that has been shit on for 10 plus years. They're not going to. That's just asking for more.
This doesn't make sense because we also have New Jedi Order that's still in the line that Starfighter is setting up. So it's we can't just pick and choose. We just again, if we're going off Phantom Menace bullshit, why are we doing New Jedi Order? Why did that get greenlit but not this?
What about?
Hold on, let me say something really quick, Chase. What if Ben Solo is a big factor in New Jedi Order?
But here's my thing. It's
what if they would have pitched that and Bob goes, so I like the concept. I don't think he should be a big player in his own movie. Let's figure out a way to put him in a new Jedi Order, which makes a whole lot more sense because we see him disappear. You can make the whole point. His life force now, Rey sees him everywhere she goes.
He's gonna be like, a voice in the head Johnny Silverhand character.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
so then you like that's what people like. Yes, does Bob Iger suck? Absolutely, 100%. He's doing things that I don't necessarily like. Obviously he's pandering to an administration that is because he wants to get mergers. Like, let's just be real here. Most likely, Disney or Paramount's gonna buy Warner Brothers, and if Disney
I'm not happy about
Warner
that either.
Brothers, it would be done. That would be the monopoly.
Getting back to what I was gonna say with the whole Adam Driver thing, I honestly think the reason why Adam Driver went public, obviously I think the Lucasfilm social media thing is just them trolling, but like the fact that he did go public about this shows that Adam Driver is pulling a Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool. I think he had purposely put it out there into the universe so that because I think he knows how much the fandom loves Ben Solo as a character, so we would fucking flip the fuck out, and Disney goes, shit, people really like this idea. Maybe we should rethink this or potentially, because that's what Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool. This was in like purgatory hell for years.
I think
studios went, this is stupid. This is not going to make any money. Ryan Reynolds released the test footage, and then everyone's like, dude, this looks amazing. Why aren't we doing this? And then here we go.
There's a difference between and not to shit on Adam Driver, but there's a difference between Ryan Reynolds and Adam Driver. Like there's a difference. Like Ryan Reynolds has more firepower, more money than Adam Driver, and influence than Adam Driver has at this very moment.
Deadpool and Wolverine brought in what 1.5 billion at the box office.
The original and Deadpool 1 and 2 both really proved themselves so that they can have those movies. Whereas they saw so much flack that the sequels got, they said, nah, we need to let the dust settle, but let this era breathe a little bit.
But Harith, you brought up the Rey movie, the New Jedi Order movie. This is how I see it happening behind the closed doors at Lucasfilm and Disney. Someone pitched. You got to have a timeline in a pitch of like when you expect the movie to when the script will be done, when shooting will be done, when editing will be done, and marketing will be done, when release will be done. Doesn't mean it's going to hit that date, but that's when you're expecting it. That's how you get these dates. Like, hey, I guarantee you that when they pitched, I don't know if this is how it happened in timeline order. It might be different. If they pitched the Rey movie, right, the New Jedi Order movie, let's say it came first in the pitch room. And they said, okay, we got these good directors. We got some good writers. We have Daisy Ridley on board. Kathleen Kennedy wants to greenlight it. Awesome. Let's say they're going to budget $300 million for this movie. Fantastic. Great. Adam Driver comes in 20 seconds later.
Right.
And he says, I got another idea. It's the Ben Solo continuation movie. I have this amazing, incredible idea of how he's going to come back, or we'll go back in time, or whatever it'll be. And they're like, we just approved $300 million on a gamble with the sequel, sequel trilogy continuation. We are not we're not betting two hands at the same time.
I agree. They're gonna test it with Rey's movie and see how well it goes with that, and then make a spin off of that.
If I had to speculate how this kind of made, this is just kind of going off of like what Kathleen Kennedy has been known for with like actors, directors, and writers. She probably met up with Adam Driver at one point. Maybe it was for another press for like, maybe it was like Indiana Jones, right? Let's just say that's possible, right? That's like within the last couple of years. It's like 18 months, right? And she was like, her and Adam Driver were like, hey, really liked you working with you. Hey, maybe we can do something in the future. Maybe with something with Ben Solo. Probably didn't think after Trosh. She probably was thinking like maybe he cameos and stuff, and maybe he's a flashback, a New Jedi Order, just something, right? And then Adam Driver being Adam Driver, and again, I fucking love Adam Driver, probably went, how can I make this work? I really love Ben Solo. Kind of don't like how he died. How can I make this work? He got arguably one of the best writers in Hollywood, and they came up with a script.
I will say this. I would not have expected it to be Adam Driver.
No.
I thought he was done with Star Wars. Just kind of like
no one's done with Star Wars. Any actor, any publication saying, "Oh, they're done with Star Wars." That's not true.
Well, I mean, unless your name is Han Solo.
Well, like,
I mean,
not
unless
to,
your name's Harrison Ford, but then
Harrison
again,
Ford was done after The Force Awakens. That's what happened.
Not to relate to funny enough, like shout out Gridiron Guys, but like it makes me think of the Rich Eisen interview. Luke, I don't know if you ever saw that. You're like with Rich Eisen and Adam Driver when he was talking about his trajectory of the sequels and funny enough, I think Adam Driver was just kind of coming out and just kind of destroying people's like misconceptions about how Ben Solo's arc was kind of changed from Force Awakens to Last Jedi to Rise. And Adam Driver was like, I knew in Force Awakens that he was going to have a redemption arc. Ryan kind of told me like maybe it could go this way, but I always knew it was going to end where it did in Tross.
Well, I mean, it did exactly what his grandpappy did. Like, these stories can start to be predictable, and I think that can kind of push you in the direction of people like going back to the whole we want original stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Star Wars, I feel like they get into the habit of, hey, here's a redemption arc. Here's something that we want to see, like that they're playing the same tune again, and it just doesn't always hit.
Right,
and
like,
that's okay.
I think the angle that I was getting mad at is because it sounded like from the reports, not like what Chase was arguing of like, hey, this financially doesn't make sense. It was more of a, well, how could he live? We're gonna kill the project, which is like we're in Star Wars, guys. You guys brought back Maul, you brought back Boba, you brought back Palpatine. Do we really need to make an argument for this doesn't make sense narratively? Also, you're the studio heads. And the studio just said, we're really passionate about this.
I think that, like to Chase's point, I think if you can make it make sense narratively, I don't think that's the I don't think that is why Bob Iger said no.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has everything to do with holding the cards to the chest. I think they're going to see how these next movies get received, and then they're going to make that play, because they're not going to make a gamble. We're talking about $1 billion industry.
Well, like,
more than $1 billion industry.
To like play to your guys' argument, I really liked someone's pitch of, let's do a Rey movie, let's do a Finn movie, let's do a Poe movie. Again, they're all standalone, right? And then it leads into Hunt for Ben Solo, where all these movies kind of connect into each other, and that becomes like the kind of finality to like this post-Tross stuff. I'm like, that would be a really good idea.
I think you get that becomes Endgame.
Yeah.
Like, I think that becomes Endgame, and I think that Disney knows that when you do that, it's hard
to bounce back.
You get into Phase 4 of Marvel. That's what happens. Is you load everything up, you blow it out, and everyone's like, "Whoa, yeah, this is the greatest thing ever!" And then you're like, "Okay, now we're gonna do Dawn of the Jedi," and they're like, "We don't care about Dawn of the Jedi."
Right, and it's like, I think honestly, if I had to guess it from Disney's perspective, they're kind of torn right now between, do we do post episode 9 stuff, or do we just stick it safe and just stick it with the Mandalorian? I think whatever does better, Mandalorian and Grogu or Starfighter, is going to be who they pick.
I think, and this is just my hot take, I think that they should do Mangold's movie,
Agreed.
Put that shit in development before Rey's movie, in my opinion. I think Rey, you're still kind of in where me and Chase are both kind of like, hey, I don't know if this is really going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try something new. And you can't go wrong with doing an original story of the very beginning of the Force.
Right.
Like, and I think that's a breath of fresh air. You get to see how like the lore begins. We know where it ends. We know where it's at. Like, I think going back farther than that, I think that's even better, to be honest. Because then you're really starting with a fresh slate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I think people losing their minds about. And here's the other thing. Why are we surprised that Bob Iger said no? Like, he's like, there's a reason why he said no. Nobody's ever going to really know until it comes out 20, 30 years from now. And who's to say that he didn't say, oh, well, got other ideas, and Adam's it's not able to talk about it.
Because again, obviously, I'm going off like this one article, right? Like the one that like Deadline came out, and it sounded like Driver went to a script. They made a script. They went to Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm were like, "This is fucking awesome. We need to do this." And then you go to Disney. Disney's like, "But Ben Solo died." Kill project. That's again. I guess that there probably is more to the story. I'm just saying this. I'm just going off of what's been reported.
I'll say this. Like, yeah, we can say, oh, this is unfortunate. Oh, this is bad. Disney doesn't have manage. I will say, anyone who ever made a joke about somehow Palpatine returned, you are why this movie is not getting greenlit.
Correct.
Oh, 100%.
You are why. If you joked
100%.
about it, and it's like, I don't care if you're part of the fandom menace or you're part of the positive side of it. You know, if you have been dogging on the sequels for 10 years now, and you were joking constantly about somehow Palpatine returned,
right?
And you complained about the Holdo maneuver, and you complained about anything in The Last Jedi. You complained about Luke's character arc. I'm not saying you can't criticize these movies. I'm not saying you can't say you didn't like these movies. What I am saying is that the reason that some of the stuff that has been coming out of Star Wars since The Rise of Skywalker had come out is because of the reaction. The reason you're not getting an Acolyte season 2 is because people complained about one of many, the chant. This is the reason. Like, the reason you're not getting a Book of Boba Fett chapter 2 is because people threw a temper tantrum over the mods, right?
Yeah.
The reason you're not getting a Kenobi season 2 is because people just complained about nonsensical bullshit.
Even though I honestly think that's more of a Disney issue, but we can get into that later.
Here's the thing. Look, I'm not trying to defend the corporations. I'm not trying to defend Disney. I'm not trying to defend any production studio. If you were in charge of a movie studio, and 10 years ago, the internet could not stop joking about what was supposed to be the most impactful moment of your trilogy that you were making, when Darth Vader walks out onto a platform and goes, "No." And people in 2014 were still making fun of that movie, and we're still making fun of Attack of the Clones for being like one of the worst movies ever made. What are you gonna, as a company? Okay, let's say you bought the rights to, I don't know, Game of Thrones.
That's up in the air now because of fucking Warner Brothers.
Let's say, I don't know. Let's say Sony Pictures buys Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And you look and you say, okay, well, people really didn't like season 8. Let's go in the complete opposite direction. I'm not saying this is going to happen, right? I didn't watch Game of Thrones. You bring something out that's totally new and totally different. People are like, oh, it's just not like Game of Thrones. And then you're going to have a new generation of fans that said season 8 wasn't that good. Season 8 was actually secretly genius.
Yeah, you're going to, well, it's all about time and mass. And I almost said, never mind. It's
go on.
I get what you're saying.
It's all about, it's all goes with time. Like, you have to let things breathe. You have to let things, in this day and age of media, we want everything all at once explained to us in one sitting. And that just isn't how storytelling is. It is. It never has been. There, especially with a saga or a trilogy like Star Wars, you have to let it breathe. It's always been like that. The complete story isn't complete until the third movie. You know what I mean?
Which is why, I know, a lot of my arguments may sound hypocritical, which is why I'm glad Lucasfilm is doing Starfighter first before New Jedi Order, because I think one of their biggest mistakes they made with the sequel trilogy was just jumping straight in and leaving all the politics and explanation stuff in Journey 2 books. I'm glad they're just pushing that to the front and putting that in actual visual media and putting the context first, and then letting New Jedi Order be New Jedi Order, and we don't have to spend half a New Jedi Order or a little bit explaining what happened and what the state of the galaxy is. We can kind of just jump into it.
I'd push back on this.
Think.
Yeah, I'd push back on it because I've seen this going around a lot recently about people talking about like the First Order and stuff like that, and like with the political climate, like I'm not going to name names. I've seen people that were like that are friends of ours that like made videos that like literally contradicted themselves in the same video, and it's like I genuinely feel like what the prequels did is they tried to like hammer you over the head with political discourse. Like the opening scene of the Phantom Menace is an ambassadors meeting, right?
Like, yeah, it's about trade routes. It's about going to like let's be real here. We don't need to spend 30 minutes in Starfighter, which I think should be just a Starfighter pilot movie.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm glad that they're starting with the context before. I'm not saying we need to sit there and explain politics. I'm saying I'm glad that we're not just jumping into New Jedi Order and it's like, bam, it's been 15 years. What the fuck? Like, I'm glad we're kind of soft launching ourselves into it. It is kind of like Star Wars, but I'm saying I'm glad that, because think about it. What is Lucasfilm doing currently right now, post-sequel trilogy? We're kind of going backwards and we're kind of having to go explain. Because again, I read a lot of the like post-era sequel trilogy stuff. I read Shadows of the Sith. I know what's going on with Palpatine. I know what's going on with all that. The movie audience and the show audience is having to get it spoon-fed to them in The Mandalorian and in Bad Batch to kind of like help kind of connect those dots. Again, I don't need to do that. I know what I'm talking. I know these books. I'm glad that we're doing Starfighter first, so we can, if we're going to do something crazy, like, for example, if what we're saying is true and they're going to like put the Hunt for Ben Solo stuff into New Jedi Order, because again, we don't know where that is right now, because last time we heard about it, they were going through multiple writers. Maybe Steven Soderbergh came over and said, hey, let's just put him there. We really liked what he did there. Makes sense that we start with Starfighter instead of just jumping 15 years into the future and just leaving all the context that say. Because I think Lucasfilm was learning from their previous mistakes of, hey, we don't start with the additional context. Because again, that's also a prequel issue. Think about like Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith. I was talking about that in Pep's Live. Like, again, if they added like, started like with later in the prequels, we wouldn't need a 7-season TV show to explain why Anakin went from here to here. So I think Lucasfilm is starting to learn from their past mistakes of starting with context.
I think it's just one of those things that the audience that grew up with the prequels versus the audience today is wildly different. Mm-hmm. And we can say all day, like, oh, Star Wars is for kids. And, you know, we can say like, oh, the kids are going to, you know, the kids today that like were born during Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker, like they're going to love the sequels. And I think that's true. I think that's mostly true. I think that there are issues with those movies. I like those movies. I like them more than the prequels. But it's like one of those things, like I always look back to like, if a generation of kids can fall in love with the prequels, another generation of kids can fall in love with the sequels way easier.
Right.
But I think you do have to understand, like, people who are just fans are buying these tickets now. And like, you are now fighting to get a new generation into Star Wars when there's so many other things going on in the world. So I think that what they've done, I think that they've learned lessons. I genuinely do. Like, I don't think that what Disney or Lucasfilm under Disney, I don't think that they have put out a truly bad piece of media as of yet. I think there's things that worked better than others. I think that, like, when you look at something when you look at the Acolyte compared to Andor, huge drastic jump in quality.
Yeah. And like, my argument was like, imagine, okay, I know it's hard to imagine this because obviously we're in a post-streaming world, but imagine like The Mandalorian came out before The Force Awakens. That's what kind of argument I was making there, where it's like we can slowly soft launch into it, and like you already kind of have like people kind of like dipping their toes into it before we just full send into an idea.
I
know it's hard to think about that.
I don't agree with that, because I think that I'm not trying to take anything away from The Mandalorian. What helped The Mandalorian was the reception of the sequels. Because this was not involving any of your childhood favorite characters. This was disconnected from everything. And it was a good space Western. You didn't have any nostalgia to blind you. And again, not to get into the quality of the sequels, it left a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Well,
and
so
so
did the prequels to the original.
And like
trilogy
we've talked about a
games.
lot on this rewatch so far, like because you keep going back to 2019, flashing our brains back into that. Like Mandalorian was in the era of like we were in peak Grifterverse area bullshit of like people complaining about The Last Jedi, and we're right before Tross. It was like arguably one of the worst times to be a Star Wars fan, and like The Mandalorian was kind of a breath of fresh air in that regard of like we're away from this bullshit. Because I agree that like Force Awakens like helped with that, like where it was like that kind of added juice, but I also think at the same time it didn't really, because we were in the middle of everyone crying about Luke Skywalker and The Last Jedi and Canto Bight and all that stuff, and how Kathleen Kennedy was the worst person ever because Grifter verses were just dominating the conversations at that time.
Yeah, I think that largely, when any franchise is purchased by another company, especially something as beloved as Star Wars, there's going to be questions and concerns. I think that if the first thing you say you're going to do when you make such a huge monumental purchase like Star Wars is say, we've got Silver Boba Fett and he's going to go on an adventure, and you're going to be like, I went through the prequel trilogy and those shitty Clone Wars episodes just to get a Boba Fett knockoff. This is fucked. What was the smart thing was Han Solo's back in the Millennium Falcon saying, "We're home, Chewie."
Mm-hmm.
Right after that. That's the smartest thing they could have done. And that's what they did. And I think like if you go back to 2015, people were into The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Oh,
people,
for sure.
like,
Yeah.
Star Wars was back. People had complaints. I remember distinctly before a lot of those Jedi Council Collider people like Christian Harloff and stuff like that, before they switched up, they were like, yeah, I have complaints about this movie, but they're movie complaints. They're like, oh, like I thought the framing of this scene was a little bit off. Oh, this felt a little bit samey compared to the rest of Star Wars. But they're like, these were known prequel haters. They now like the prequels, funnily enough.
Shocker.
But they didn't like the prequels. They didn't like 1 through 3. They watched 7. They got their TIE fighters, their X-Wings, they got Han Solo, they got Princess Leia, they're talking about Luke Skywalker. Star Wars is back, baby. And it's a fun fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like I have never seen a movie more times in the theater than I saw Force Awakens. I kept going to see that. So and then the thing is, and this is where I think like this is the reason that this shit did not get greenlit, is because of what I said earlier, the overreaction to The Last Jedi and then following The Rise of Skywalker. I like The Rise of Skywalker. I will never back down from that. I think The Rise of Skywalker is good. I think the one thing that could have been better about Rise of Skywalker is more of The Rise of Skywalker. I think that movie should have been longer.
3 hours.
The finale to a 9 saga or 9 episode movie saga deserves. Look at fucking Return of the King extended edition. Well, is like a day and a half long.
It's like, crazy to think about like how this conversation is kind of a circle, because like I was making my rant at the beginning of the episode. It's like Bob Iger also is the reason why Rise of Skywalker became what Rise of Skywalker became, because Lucasfilm went to Disney and was like, hey, this film is not ready. We're gonna have to haul ass to get this in a shape by December 2019 because we're editing the movie as we're filming it. Can we please get another year? Which little did we know was either a blessing in disguise or a disaster.
We'd be getting Rise of Skywalker this Christmas.
We'd be getting Rise of Skywalker in 2022.
Yeah.
No, I think that like I do when people say something like, oh, I feel like The Rise of Skywalker was a reaction to The Last Jedi, like yes, but
yes and no.
Yes, and
like when people I think that people look at it as like, oh, they're overcorrecting. Like not that I think that everyone does this, but people like reference like Luke's Force Ghost coming out of the fire and says that's no way to treat the weapon of a Jedi, and they're like, oh, that's a dig at Ryan Johnson. It's like no, this is continuing character growth.
It's like
this
is story
100%.
arcs
It's like
101.
It's like you watch literally every single Star Wars, like especially the original trilogy. Like the elder statesman dies and comes back as a Force ghost to help the hero
also
learn a lesson that it needs that they need to learn.
Again, I like Tross, but that's also a weird example to cherry pick because it's like Rey Palpatine sitting right there as an easy option.
It's something I've seen a lot, but like even like the Rey Palpatine stuff, like I've definitely heard like well thought out, well constructed criticisms and critiques of the Rise of Skywalker. It's not like they're not there. Yeah. But I think that you have grown men on the internet with a huge followings. Like there's multiple people out there that are out there saying things full chest that the Rise of Skywalker is the worst science fiction movie of all time or the worst movie of all time. And it's one thing if me on my shitty fucking webcam, right, gets on here with my YouTube account that has 30 followers because I once put up an Oblivion speedrun parody video with 39,000 views. And I come in here and I say, here's what's wrong with the sequel trilogy, right? That's one thing. I'm a fucking loser, okay?
The self-awareness, I love it.
I love it too.
When you have dozens to hundreds of YouTube accounts posting these fucking 10-hour-long dissertation video essays, and they're number one monetizing this shit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And again, not to make this political, if you've seen the stuff about Barack Obama getting out there saying like, imagine if I did this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Imagine that. I'm going to say this. Imagine that the Rise of Skywalker came out in 2013. Okay. When YouTube copyright and the corporations were on fire, when Nintendo was taking down YouTube,
oh my
channels,
god,
when 20th Century Fox, when Sony Music, Star Wars Theory, Geeks and Gamers, fucking RK Outpost would be fucking homeless right now.
They wouldn't be existing. It would be fucking
it would
be Red Letter Media.
Yeah, if you referenced anything about their IPs negatively, they would have just, you're out. We are taking your video down, because now YouTube has changed, and what they've done is taking advantage. Like, they are careful with what they do, and the worst that'll happen to them is their video will get demonetized, which can't. You did.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
I mean, it kind of fits the discussion more, but I'm not complaining.
But the thing is like you if you look back to that era, and it's like what. And this is not to say that I agree with how YouTube and corporations were abusing copyright laws. Mm-hmm. But when we look at it today, when Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019, and YouTube had to be really careful, because like getting your channel taken down over bogus copyright things was like, it is now a like legit career, like not even just careers ending move, because a lot of these people pay editors, they pay researchers, they like, these are production studios at this point. So when you have to bring this all back in,
yeah,
it doesn't matter if you agree with Star Wars Theory or Critical Drinker or anyone like that. You do have to pay attention to that following. You do have to say, okay, this person has X number of millions of followers. These videos that are getting fed to people by the YouTube algorithm are reaching 1, 2, 6, 10, 20 million views, saying everything wrong with the sequel trilogy. Pick your flavor, pick your poison on that.
Yeah, I think
what else are you supposed to do?
Right. I think now that we're into like the discussion of like Grifterverse and like that kind of stuff, and like I honestly think, even though I was heated about this, I think this is honestly kind of like a drink the Kool-Aid type moment. It's like, this could be another critical point where it's like someone like me or someone else is like kind of negatively feeling towards this, and then they fucking fall down a rabbit hole because there's nothing to talk about in Star Wars right now, and you could push it that direction easily.
Dude, I guarantee you, if like there were a fucking Julian Assange level of scripts that were not greenlit leaked of like every movie ever, like I guarantee you that like some really talented people went to George Lucas, and probably gave him amazing ideas for a way to continue the original trilogy before the prequels even existed. I bet you that there are Marvel movies, there are Marvel scripts,
like the David Fincher one that came out earlier today.
Sure. Yeah, dude, I would love a Seven style Star Wars movie, like a crazy,
because he came out and said
murder mystery.
He posted on his blog that he pitched it to Lucasfilm, and the fact that they shot it down, which I honestly don't blame Lucasfilm for this. He wanted filing control over the editing, and they said no, and that's the reason why the project died.
I mean,
I don't blame him.
It's a fucking it's a corporation. They want all last say. There's very limited directors. I think you can name them on your hand that get that luxury. Steven Spielberg. I would say J.J. Abrams, a little bit, depending on James Cameron.
I would say Ryan got a little bit of that as well with Last Jedi.
But a little bit. Not so much. Now, not so much.
I mean, he's earned it back with Knives Out and that kind of stuff as well. Like, I think studios are giving more leeway.
I think the other thing that you do need to understand is like let's take Andor.
Yeah.
And Andor season 2 specifically. Like Andor season 1, like Tony Gilroy, has come out and said he's like, I want to start episode 1, the first scene in a brothel. Kathleen Kennedy said, do it. I think that if you look at Andor, and this is the thing that I think people get hung up on is like, oh, imagine a Star Wars X, Y, and Z. Sure, that sounds awesome.
Where's the demand for it?
Where's the demand for it? Is it you and your fucking 10 friends that are saying like, oh, what if they brought Darth Malgus back into Star Wars and it was like a slasher movie? And it's like,
well, it's like,
it sounds awesome. I'm not going to say it doesn't sound awesome. Sell that to a mom with a 5-year-old. I guarantee you that's what they say. It's like, this sounds awesome.
It sounds to me as though it's giving the same energy as people watching like the Knights of the Old Republic like 3D cinematic trailers and going, oh my god, I want that as a movie.
Well,
then I tell them go play the game and you won't see the same.
Exactly.
No. Well, and like here's the other thing, like people clamoring for a Darth Vader show. It's like you can't really do that.
You can. You can. It's called the Clone Wars. You got 7 fucking seasons.
Also, the 6 Star Wars movies beforehand.
Well,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Like, no, but you know what I'm talking about, like the one.
The R-rated ones.
I want him taking out people. Like, dude, we got enough of that in Kenobi to
we got that in the Jedi games as well.
Yeah, so it's like we don't see what I mean. Like, there's. Like, where's the demand?
There's people. Here's the thing. There's people who still want a season 8 of the Clone Wars, and this is the thing.
Clone Wars is dead. It's over.
Let it die.
This is one of the things I was talking about with Lord Dagobert last night. Is people keep saying, "Oh, you should let a fan direct Star Wars. Let a fan direct Star Wars." They did. It's called The Acolyte.
The Acolyte. Yeah.
They also did. It's called 7 through 9.
No. Like the Acolyte is 100% what you get, because look, love it or hate it, J.J. Abrams has talent. J.J. Abrams created the Cloverfield verse. He created Lost. He created, whether you like it or not, I think they're getting their renaissance as well, the new Star Trek movies. Like, he is a popular, in-demand director that has talent. You can't take that away from him. Leslie Headland, I don't mean this disrespectfully, is not J.J. Abrams.
100%.
She's not Tony. She's not Tony Gilroy. She's not even George Lucas. She's not even Ryan Johnson. She is a Star Wars nerd that has directed movies and like episodes of shows. She is a Star Wars fan first and a director second, and it shows in that in The Acolyte. Yeah. And this is the thing, is that you make your Darth Revan, your Darth Malgus, your Exar Kun, your Star Killer, your Kyle Katarn show, and you let a Star Wars fan do it, it's going to turn out exactly like The Acolyte did. that was the problem is I think that they did not have a team that could not only, because if you look at it from a lore perspective and ignoring the people who don't actually understand the lore and think that the show gets so much lore correct that people think they fucked up the lore.
Yeah.
Right. And also, like, I do find it interesting that you mentioned that, but also the fact that there was a writer on the team that has never had any like connection to Star Wars to keep track of everything.
That means that no one who worked at the Acolyte actually ever saw Star Wars before.
Because one writer.
I
Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy have never. I saw an article. They've never seen Star Wars.
Because like the thing I love about the Acolyte is like, look, at least the Acolyte had a writing room. I could say that that's not true about most Star Wars projects. There's been like most Star Wars projects has like one, maybe two writers. At least the Acolyte had a room of different severities. Again, I wish it was. Again, we can critique the Acolyte and like go on and on about that for days, but like I'll give that as one of the things I'll give to the show.
Yeah, I think, but here's the thing, like to bring it back to this Kylo Ren thing, is I think that this article is blowing a lot of things out of proportion. First of all, again, if you could have that, big bomb of every rejected script ever, the internet would implode on itself and form a black hole because you're gonna learn about how Blade and the X-Men and Deadpool and the Silver Surfer and Galactus was written into a script where they all fought and then Tony Stark like killed him with his butt energy beam.
I mean, it's like there's a channel out there. I forget who it is. It's just like a generic voiceover channel that their entire channel's existence is on canceled movies. I guarantee you that guy is gonna make a video being like, "This movie, this is what it could have been," even though he'll just make shit up about the movie.
But yeah, you're gonna find out about this. Like your favorite book series, your favorite video game series had a script that was pitched to 100 different movie studios, and you're gonna read it the same way that people read the Duel of the Fates script. And it's like, oh my god, Hollywood is cooked, bro. Chat, can you believe this, chat?
We could have had Mortis in the sequel trilogy. Oh my god. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah, no, like someone's gonna say like, oh yeah, someone submitted a script to Kathleen Kennedy where like Darth Revan cut Rey in half and like wore her head on a necklace.
Oh my god, that reminds me of who was the guy that did the Force Awakens novelization that wrote that really fucking horrible like fan fiction about Rey being a fucking robot? I'm not even making that up. This is an actual thing that happened.
But this is the thing, is the script, okay. So Adam Driver and some other talented writer came up with a really good script. They pitched it to a studio and the studio said, it has to go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pitch studio. You had one person say yes. You had another person say yes. The top dog said, no, I don't like this. The reaction to what has already happened. And it's like I get fucking letters in the mail saying somehow Palpatine returned, I'll kill you. Like, yeah, we're not playing this game, man. Like, it's like I think that Bob Iger, I don't necessarily like Bob Iger, but I understand his decisions. I would love to see a Ben Solo movie. I think that would be awesome. I don't really care how they bring him back. It's Star Wars, dude. You bring him back. Give him spider legs. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I love how I glance over at the chat and it's just a lot of out of context shit. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Anyway.
No, it's just one of those things. Like, yeah, like I would not, if I were in charge of Disney and like I had to continue to make money for Disney, and this was not about. This was no.
We're getting it. We're getting it, motherfucker.
That's exactly what I was about to say. This is not about if I were the head of Disney, head of Lucasfilm, whatever it is, right? It's not about me making my Star Wars dream come true. That's not what it's about. It's the same thing it was about with George Lucas. It was making money. It was making money, selling toys, selling merchandise. You cannot drive down the interstate without seeing a Baby Yoda bumper sticker.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
And this is the thing, is it's just like, you want to tell this really cool story. Maybe this came before the Rey movie. Who knows? I think none of this actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
The truth of the situation is the reaction to the sequels was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that the reaction to the prequels was really bad. And here's the thing about not having George Lucas, that it is really cool, is you don't have a George Lucas that can just throw hundreds of millions of dollars to a studio and say, I have a pitch for a show. My name is George Lucas. You might have heard of me. I invented Star Wars and Indiana Jones. I have this great star, Mark Hamill. He was in Corvette Summer. You may have heard of him. This show is going to cost you no money because I'm going to pay for it all.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have that. And that is a shame that we don't have someone that is willing to foot the bill under Disney and say, because here's the thing, Adam Driver probably didn't say, yeah, here's $500 million. I want to make this movie.
Yeah.
Here's what happened is he had a script and he said, can I have $500 million? And they said, that's cute. Get out of my office.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the reality of the situation, is it's just like, as much as I would love someone like George Lucas to be able to foot the bill, the reason he had to foot the bill for the Clone Wars was because everyone hated the fucking prequels.
Yeah.
And if George Lucas would have come to Cartoon Network and said, hey, do you want to do a Star Wars prequel show? And they would have been like, no.
The fact that people
will lose us money.
The people forget Clone Wars started production in 2005. I guarantee you the first season was probably done in like 2006, 2007. Meaning they were shopping the show around for 2 straight years.
You also have to remember that they had already done that on Cartoon Network in 2002 and 2003 with the Tartakovsky Clone
No,
Wars.
I'm saying like the fact that
to Chase's point, I think it's easy for Cartoon Network to say, we did it once.
Why would we do it again?
I'm gonna do it fucking again.
Why not? Why not do it again?
Well, if someone's footing the bill, we'll do it again, which is what George had to do.
They did. Which they did.
But that's the thing, is Adam Driver, as far as we know, Adam Driver was not willing to foot this bill.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have something that and look, I love the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars. I like it more than the 3D one. It didn't do well.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't. It didn't do well. It was a creative leap for Tartakovsky. Keep in mind, this is the guy that did Samurai Jack and Dexter's Lab.
Yeah.
Which are, Samurai Jack is not as dialogue heavy as Dexter was, but it's still like Jack and Aku have conversations with each other.
Right.
And this was largely a dialogue-free show. There's dialogue in it, but it's like there are episodes where just no one talks and it's just action and like suspense. It's great. It's not keeping kids entertained for a long period of time. And that's where George Lucas's Clone Wars comes in. This is the thing, is that when you approach someone with to continue on the thing that they're not happy with, that when they look at social media and they look at the reaction to everything, no one seems happy with it. They want the dust to settle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Disney can and will make whatever they want to make. Right? As long as it's going to make I don't have chat up. Let me move that over.
Sorry, we got a bunch of people in here, so I was like trying to give focus to that at the same time. You're good. No, it's like, I'm not trying to take away from the conversation. We're having a really good discussion. It's like
I don't care about chat. No, like this is the thing. It's just like post-sequel content is a hard sell.
Yeah.
Like it really is. Like what do you want a studio to do? You want them to just like say, yeah, this, like, okay, I'm going to use another reference. Do you think they keep making Call of Duty games because Call of Duty
doesn't sell.
Well, Chase, don't you know Call of Duty has a really I'm kidding. They don't have a good storyline.
Well, okay, Call of Duty has like a contract with like the U.S. military.
Well, yes.
Yeah. The U.S.
Do
military.
you think?
Yeah, we need people to like want to be part of the military. So
people.
Do you think they'd be making Final Fantasy 17
if there wasn't a demand for it? Look at Dungeons and Dragons specifically. Look at Critical Role. Look at what they're doing.
I mean, I sure texted Alanis about that because I sent her a video. It's like people are like, I hate people that like attribute 5e success because of Wizards of the Coast. Dipshits, it was fucking Critical Role, you idiots. That's why D&D has had the big boom in the last 10 years.
But look at this. Like think of it this way. Like look at a Call of Duty. Look at Battlefield. You know.
Yeah.
They put like. Why do you think every Call of Duty feels the same?
Because it works and it's easy to develop.
Because when they try something new,
it never works out.
It doesn't work out. Like when it was Infinite War, when it was Advanced Warfare, when they go back to World War II, it never does as good as shooting brown people in the Middle East.
You know, that is very fair. But I will say,
it's just the reality.
I will say, personally, I like the World War II ones because
I do too. They're my favorites.
Who doesn't get satisfaction of killing Yahtzees? You know?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, if you look at the timeline of Star Wars, like post Rise of Skywalker, and I feel like one of the last times I was on here, we had this conversation of. They've moved away from prequel content because the original trilogy stuff tends to do the best. And it's like, if and I know that here's the thing, TikTok and YouTube are not a good gauge of Star Wars because TikTok definitely skews towards a younger audience, which means the prequels are the greatest thing ever and Revenge of the Sith is the greatest movie ever made. YouTube has a little bit. YouTube has an older audience. YouTube Shorts has like the Gen Alpha.
I mean, YouTube
brain.
Also is unreliable because people will just go off whatever their AdSense says, and they'll just change their opinions to whatever gives them money that week.
But largely, this is original on YouTube. It's original trilogy territory.
Yeah.
Gen Alpha is
what the fuck?
Skibbity toilet, man.
I can't understand
AI generated.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started on Sora.
Clips.
Oh god.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about people that like. I get the clips of movies where the AI is just narrating exactly what is going on in the scene.
No, that's a thing. That's a thing.
That's a YouTube Shorts thing.
No,
it's a YouTube Shorts thing.
What
where
the
it'll be like piano.
Twitter.
It's piano music or the Interstellar theme, showing a movie scene, and then AI voice narrating exactly what's going on.
100%, that happens all the time.
Thing.
I'm always scrolling on Twitter and it shows up.
Maybe film directors are right. Maybe fucking AI is the death of movies. Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
Regardless. It's the numbers don't lie. Like, let's be so for real. The numbers don't lie. When Star Wars sticks to the original trilogy is when it is the most popular. Can even with Book of Boba Fett, even as an outlier, you have the Acolyte, which is still prequel adjacent. You have Kenobi, which is prequel adjacent.
Even though I would argue it's more OT adjacent, but we're arguing semantics.
It's Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. It's the prequels. And then you have what was it? Ahsoka. It's Ahsoka Tano. She's from the Clone Wars. She's from the prequels. These are not shows that are like knocking the socks off. What's knocking the socks off is the Mandalorian and/or Skeleton Crew, Rebels, stuff like that. Bad Batch was great, didn't do well. Like
Tales no offense, just pays for the bills.
Tales doesn't do it.
It's just oh look, here's Clone Wars content. Here you go, make your TikToks. Bye. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I this isn't fair right? Because it's not quite the same timeline. The Return of the Jedi 20, or what was it, 40th anniversary or 30th anniversary that was recently, like, I believe
40th.
I could be wrong on these. Like, I believe that did better than the Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary, or 20th anniversary.
20th anniversary, 2025.
And obviously this is not fair, but like the 2027 50th anniversary of A New Hope,
it's going to blow all these out of the water.
It's going to be one of, like, it will be the biggest movie of the year. Like, it's just going to be like it's
the original Star Wars,
and it's 50 years old. It's just going to be the biggest movie of the year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's just one of those things of, like, it's a business. It's always been a business. When it was 20th Century Fox, it was a business.
Mm-hmm.
Like 20th Century Fox stepped
it always
in.
will be a business.
Yeah.
They stepped in Empire. They stepped in Return of the Jedi. They're the reason the holiday special exists.
Mm-hmm.
They stepped in when they gave George Lucas free reign for the Phantom Menace. They told him to reel it in for the subsequent 2 movies that came afterwards.
Right.
There's, not that there's animosity, but there's constant, like, interviews with Dave Filoni of how he had to, like, basically arm wrestle George into, like, allowing him to include certain things.
Yeah, because he was very anti-EU at the time.
Yeah, like, he wouldn't, like there's I don't know if it's famous, but, like, there's that one interview where, like, Jay was like, I wanted vibroblades because, like, Knights of the Old Republic had just come out and we loved vibroblades, and George was like, nope, nothing cuts through a lightsaber, you can't use it.
Hence Darksaber.
Yeah, that's how we got the Darksaber. And it's just one of those things. If it's just like, you got to follow the money. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
Like, 100%. And
which is why I think Mandalorian and Grogu and Starfighter are the test pins right now. What is going to be more successful? Is it Mando or is it post episode 9? What can we get with? Obviously, both are going to skew very OT, tonally adjacent. But what's going to be more successful? Whatever is going to be more successful, I'm telling you right now, they're picking one of those two.
Mandalorian and Grogu will be more successful.
Yeah. And again, probably. I don't disagree with you. I want to be proven wrong. I want it to be Starfighter.
Sure. No, I do too. Like, I'm also not in the camp of people who hate the Mandalorian Grogu before it's even out yet.
I said on the episode 1 of the rewatch that I think it's going to be like Solo. And I love Solo. That's not a bad thing.
It's going to be more. It's going to be more successful than Solo.
No, I'm not saying financially wise. I'm saying from a story wise, it's going to be like Solo.
Oh, story wise,
it's going to be like Solo.
I can see that. Well,
do we get
Mando?
How about Mando episode 4, man?
Here's my thoughts on that episode. Man, I wish Cara Dune was played by a different actor.
That's very fucking fair.
That's literally the only thing that I can say about this. Cara Dune's an interesting character. The way they introduce her is awesome. But
Grogu
every
soup.
single time I see, Grogu soup as well. And my thoughts are, it's sad that I can't disconnect who that person is as a person to the character, and it's tough, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah, and also, like, again, it kind of goes back to, like, this is, like, if you think about it, the crazy thing about this episode, this is Bryce Dallas's debut as a director in Star Wars, and it sucks that, like what happened with Gina Carano and Cara Dune has just dragged that episode down into the pits, because it's a really good episode.
It is a good
beneath
episode.
the surface.
It's yeah.
Okay, here's my hot take before we depart here. I will stand by, like, I can go back to when Mando season 1 was coming out. I loved Cara Dune. I thought Cara Dune was super fucking cool. This was before anything knew anything about Gina Carano.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what was so interesting about Cara Dune was this episode 4 of The Mandalorian, if I remember right, is just a carbon copy of episode 3 or 4 of Firefly, where they go to the little village and Cara Dune, helps save the village and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a very generic. We've seen this story trope 100 times.
Yeah. And I was like, I love Firefly. I love this idea. This is very space western. You go to this remote village or this remote town, and they need help, and the town's being overrun by all these criminals or these bandits or the evil city, just up north there. It's a great episode. It's a good trope. It's a great episode. Cara Dune is a great character. I do not see this happening because there's just not any demand for it. Would you have liked to see a Rangers of the New Republic with a recast Cara Dune?
No. Sure.
No?
Sure.
Because we're getting it in Mandalorian and Grogu.
Well, there's the kicker right there. You're getting it with Mando and Grogu is just Rangers of the
It's Rangers in the New Republic, but with
are they doing Cara Dune?
No,
it's just we're just doing.
I'm talking about a Cara
Hera, Cara Dune, Bo-Katan, yeah, sure, but like, I feel like they're putting that storyline they're giving it to Mando and Grogu.
They've
made it so clear.
They've dissected that story, and like I guarantee you, like it was probably like Skeleton Crew was probably a one-shot episode of Rangers of the New Republic.
100%
for sure.
Well, no, Skeleton Crew was like during the 20. No, wait, was it? No, it was not during the 2020. It was Anaheim. It was right after Rangers of the New Republic was already dead. Maybe you're right on that because. I'm trying to remember timelines right.
I think that if they were storyboarding Rangers of the New Republic, there was probably one where Cara Dune and
Hera and
I can imagine Cara Dune with a bunch of kids. I could see that being like a pitch.
Yeah. Where it's like they save a bunch of kids from a bunch of space pirates. Like that sounds like an awesome one-off episode for Rangers of the New Republic, and it got turned into an awesome one-season show. Hopefully, it gets a second season.
Hopefully before Dave Filoni wraps all this shit up in a movie.
It's so standalone. It's so standalone that you could continue it however you wanted to.
Yeah. Skeleton Crew replaced it, but I imagine it was pitched while Rangers was still a thing. Well, because remember. Not to like destroy your argument. I remember John Watts talking about how he pitched it while filming Far From Home.
Yeah.
Because this was a thing in 2018.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that I it's an okay episode.
Yeah,
Bryce Dallas Howard does a really good job.
I really do.
Pretty entertaining.
Even removing the trope aspect of like the Raiders, anything. I do like the whole idea. Even as a one-off episode of like Din thinking about retiring from bounty hunting and like finding a love interest and like potentially removing his vowels with like his helmet and that kind of stuff. Like I wouldn't mind if they brought that back in Mando and Grogu, but like something different.
I think it would be hilarious. And I said this to Alanis when I was watching it. I was like, watch them just like bring her back and be like, all right, welcome back. It's Bachelorette number 1, the love interest that we met in season 1. You want her back? Come on. And Din's just sitting there like.
What do you imagine? Like a reality show drama with all the different women over there. There's Amanda.
Bachelorette number 1, lady for season 1, and then it's just like crazy Twi'lek lady from season 1, episode 5. Like it just goes down the rabbit hole. But no. I thought it was a nice episode. It's not one of my favorites. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's not one of my favorites either. Like, I still think Bryce Dallas Howard should direct a show or a movie at some point. I'm sorry. Lucasfilm, has she not proven like 15 times over that she's capable of doing this?
Which, by the way, we had did we talk about Ahsoka season 2 and what she said at New York Comic Con?
We did. We talked about it. Like, I remember Char and I talked about the discussion about like if people like overreacting to like she used the words romance and people like fucking flipped out about that. And I'm like. And again, I go back to Ryan's video. Like Ryan brought up like amazing, great points about like how romance means what. You could be a romanticization of Star Wars for all we know. Does it mean two characters are hooking up and fucking?
No, 100%. Well, Chase,
that was a surprise appearance. You heard me screaming about Disney, and Chase is like, I need to make my monthly appearance.
Nice little change. I like it.
No, I saw you guys were live, and I was like, oh, I actually have a moment right now.
Well,
I do have to get packing though, because I'm going glamping with my sister and cousins tomorrow morning.
Have fun with that.
Nice.
I'm riding. So they're all driving. I'm riding my bike 120 miles to get to the Airbnb.
Brother, why?
Because they're glamping and like so lame. It needs to be fun
What's
and
glamping?
adventurous.
What does that mean?
It's like camping, but in a cabin, but like kind of in the woods.
Camping in like an Airbnb cabin in the mountains.
Oh, okay.
And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna drive, and like we might go on a hike on Saturday." And I was like, I would just drive and hike and then drive home. But they're paying for the cabin, and I was like, well, I might as well make an adventure out of it. I'm gonna ride 120 miles there and 120 miles back.
Chase is like, this is
you
baby
are fucking
stuff.
Insane.
I'm gonna make.
You are insane. But Chase, where can the good people follow you? Are you gonna be able to come back like?
Probably not for a minute, but
I mean, you came back when we needed you the most.
It's true.
Yeah.
Forward into the black at TikTok.com.
and
every Wednesday on VR chat with some cute anime girlies.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. God damn it. Harris, where can good people follow you?
I guess I'll try to save this. You can find me at Harris Productions on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. You could find me and Luke, if you like sports, on Gridiron Guys every Tuesday night. And of course, you can also find Ryan, who's also in the fucking chat, on Gridiron Guys every Tuesday night. Luke, where can the good people follow you?
You can follow me at Jedi Master Eggs on all social medias. You can follow us at the Podwans on all social medias. Like Harris said, if you like sports ball, Gridiron Guys every Tuesday night. We are actually streaming a lot of games this weekend, so check us out on the TikTok side of things. You can follow Char Char J on all social media. So spelled right here. Yeah, no. But that's gonna be it for this episode. We will see you next week as we break down everything that's happening in Star Wars news that week and episode 5 of The Mandalorian Season 1. With that, on to the next one. May the Force be with you.